Hey everyone, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. Now for the last 2 Tuesdays, I've done my fall project videos, and I am going to do another fall project video, but I wanted to get my reading journal video back on Tuesday. So I hope you were excited to see another favorite book from August. August. This book is very special and just incredible. It is called Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I'm going to try to replicate the cover because the cover has lots of florals, and anytime I can do florals, I am all about florals. But first, I take a little adventure with this yellow flower that I wasn't sure how I wasn't going to make these yellow flowers. Like, I wanted to give them some oomph, give them a little extra detail, but I just couldn't figure out how. At first, I tried a different yellow ink with my water brush. Then I tried a different yellow ink with the water brush. Didn't like that. Then I stamped pink over the yellow flowers, and that was even worse. So I just started over and decided to use the solid shape of the flower, and then over the top of it, I will stamp pink. And it really brought out the yellow in the color, the yellow in the flower, but it also blended in nicely. And it kind of gave it that pop that I really needed. It made like a fun color combination. I'm also going to do the same thing with orange. I did 2 orange flowers, and then I will do some brown because the bottom flower on the book cover is kind of a reddish orange. So I decided to go with mainly orange and yellow flowers because I had already stamped the red flowers in the background. I'm also going to add in some blue since there's blue in the book cover as well. And of course, green. There's no green in the book cover, but I love green, and any chance I can use green, I'm going to use green. My design for this spread is just to go on the outer edges, and I also, at this point when I was making it, knew that I was probably not going to have room for quotes, so I am going to get some 2x4 pieces of paper that I can fold in half and go ahead and use those as my quotes. So this is just a beautiful romance with a lot of spice. I would say 5 stars spice, maybe 5+ spice. But the beautiful part about the story is how it's about 2 people who were previously married and kind of lost their way. And also there's a wonderful aspect of mental health. But I will get to all of that once I get to the synopsis. And right now, I am currently reading Only Love Can Hurt Like This and listening to a thriller called The Trap. And it has it takes place in Ireland, so it has Irish narrators, and I think that's fantastic. So I'd love to know what you guys are reading. I always love when you share, so thank you for sharing. I also printed out some leaves that are kind of in the yellow color that is on the book cover. I just fussy cut those out, and I'm going to add those along with a green leaf stamp in kind of a dark green color. And like I said, there was no green in the book cover, but I really love how adding in that bold green color really helped your eye, or helps your eye travel around the spread. So it's a really beautiful book cover to go along with this amazing story. So I love how this is turning out. I love it. So when I was trying to figure out those yellow flowers, I wound up finding a stamp that was a heart, but it was hollow and had a bunch of dots. I knew that that would be perfect to add in the blue from the cover, add in that color, and also because it's a romance, it works perfect to add in that heart. And so it's just overall making a really vibrant, beautiful color scheme that I am thoroughly loving. I'm going to add in my flowers now, place them where I want them, kind of in the corners of the spread. 2 of them I split in half, that way I could use them in different sections. Same thing with the fussy cutted yellow and gold-ish leaves, and I even took some of them and just used like a piece of the bottom of the leaf. At first I thought, you know what, that might look a little weird, but I was like, whatever, I'm just going to use it. So you can see one of those pieces up in the top left corner. It's just a small little piece of the fussy cut leaf. And once I have this done, I can go ahead and start working on the synopsis. But I think what I do first is I make sure I grab or cut the 2x4 flaps that I need to make the quotes, because there's going to be a ton of quotes. Like I said, this book is a wonderful, wonderful book. Obviously, right? Because I wouldn't be doing it for a reading journal spread, but like this book just really has an interesting take on a romance with them being a married couple and also the mental health aspect. So there's really powerful quotes. Okay, so the synopsis. Yasmin and Josiah Wade were supposed to be together forever. Then life happened and their love wasn't enough to save them. Their marriage was over. After some time, Yasmin is feeling joy again. Her life crumbled in the worst way, but life is back to a place of good. The business she has with Josiah is thriving, and they are co-parenting wonderfully together. Both Yasmin and Josiah still feel that spark between each other, and one stolen kiss has them rethinking things, because one steamy kiss leads to more sizzling chemistry between them, and it's hot. Like I said earlier, it is a very steamy book. With this passion comes the reevaluating their past hurts. Can they move forward together? Will they have a second chance at their forever? So that's the synopsis. And now I will move on to the thoughts, which is going to be obviously on the left-hand side. And I'll have a little bit of space below the synopsis to add a quote. And I think I have the perfect one, so I will add that in a little bit. I also have the 2x2 squares that I can add in some extra quotes as well. Because like I mentioned earlier, there's a ton of good quotes in here, really thought-provoking and meaningful. So my first thought was that I listened to this book, so I got to hear two narrators that had really awesome voices and really brought the characters to life. I also enjoyed how this, and I probably mentioned this a few times, but I really enjoyed how it was a real portrayal, at least it felt like a real portrayal of choosing love despite all of life's blows, heartaches, disappointments. And, you know, about two married people or just two people that have been together, but still want to make it work after everything that they have been through. I also thought it was a beautiful but heartbreaking book about the depths of grief and how many different layers there is that comes with grief, and how communication is really the best way to let those emotions out, especially when you are in a partnership. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing Yasmin and Josiah as parents. The whole family dynamic and even their kids were fantastic. I really loved that part. And of course, the spicy factor was really fun. I don't mind spicy books. I love them. And like I've said before, I think there should be more romance books with flawed characters, and it just makes for a more dynamic, interesting love story. So that is my thoughts on the book, and hopefully I didn't repeat myself too much. And now I'm going to work on my little quote cards, but I was having a hard time deciding if I want to decorate the top of them with the same flowers that I had stamped. Would it be too plain if I left them, you know, just white? In the end, I decided to just go ahead and stamp on top of them, and I used a new stamp set from Jennifer's Syncopation Designs shop called One More Page. I stamped some stars because that kind of goes with the book cover as well, because there's almost some dots in Yasmin's hair. And so I figured, you know what, I'm going to use that star, and it just adds a little pop of black. I also stamped emotionally attached to fictional characters on the left-hand side quote box. I used a different stamp set of Jennifer's to stamp romance. Then I went back to the other 2x2 card, and I found some Allie Edwards stamps that would fit good for some phrases to stamp, like courage, dear heart, and if it comes, let it. If it goes, let it. So, and I also stamped this story below the emotionally attached little card, and over on the other one I found a stamp that says trust the timing of your life. So I felt like that was perfect because that does have a big factor into Yasmin and Josiah being able to make things work again. whether they're gonna, be forever or not. It has a lot to do with timing and communication. I also decided to stamp my rating box on the inside of this card, something different. Normally I put it on the actual reading journal page, but I really don't think it matters, does it? As long as I get my rating in there. What's more important for me is the book number and the genre, because most of these books are going to be a 5-star rating. So I think that this was book 108 out of 100. Genres were mental health and romance. So the first quote I picked was, I heard someone say once that when you try to fix people's hurt, you're controlling it instead of sitting with them and connecting. And I felt like, wow, that's a really powerful one and very true. I also loved this one as well, especially as it relates to Yasmin and her personal growth and dealing with all the heartache that she went through. I've fallen in love with the warrior woman who walked through fire, the one who came through stronger, reshaped by sorrow, reformed by grief, reborn in joy. And I also think that could probably apply to a lot of us who have been through a lot of different things in life. And yeah, that's a really awesome quote. I feel like I need to print that one out and stick it up somewhere. The next one is about grief, and it says, grief is a grind. It is the work of breathing and waking and rising and moving through a world that feels emptier. A gaping hole has been torn into your existence. I could have written more on that quote, but I decided that that was enough. So another one about Yasmin's kind of personal growth was, it means seeing myself clearly, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, faults, mistakes, acknowledging what I really think and feel and not judging those emotions, understanding myself, not censoring it, having compassion for myself. So that is that little box. And then the quote that I picked really has to do, again, with timing, time, grief, and just fit perfect with the book. So it is, and I think I'm most grateful for time, which doesn't always heal all wounds, but teaches us how to be happy again, even with our scars. Again, I think that this could be applicable to so many of us. So really amazing book. And if you have read it, I would love to know. If you think you're going to read it, I'd love to know too. Even with the spice factor, I think you should give it a try. So I'm going to adhere down these little quote cards, and I also decided to try and color in them. I feel like sometimes I'm not the best at coloring them in, but this time they turned out really well. I did an orange book with a blue heart, and then I did some pink hearts and just a neutral tan for the romance genre stamp. And then after that, I will be done, and I had the best time making this. It's such a wonderful book, and I loved bringing in all the florals and all the different colors, and I hope that you've enjoyed. I'd love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.